you guys been? This is my January to March, little bit of April reading update. It's been a hot minute. I have read 5 books since January. Not 10, but 5. Terrible, okay? And I picked up some new books. Megan, why would I do that? I don't even know. And I forgot to mention, if you watch till the end of this video, there is something super exciting coming your way, so you're probably going to want to stick around. Because I know my reader friends, my reader fanatics, my reader besties, you will be super excited about this. So stick around till the end of the video. Woo! Okay. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like this video. I post weekly videos, books, fashion, etc., etc. Stuff like that. It's been a while since I've done a fashion video. I will have a fashion video up, I promise. It's just been a hot minute, okay guys? This is gonna annoy me, isn't it? So, without any further ado, let's get into the books that I've read and a very mini book haul, okay? Let's do it. Also, okay, do you mind? Like, seriously. He's so cute. And he smells like strawberries. Just gonna put him down here. Because, and I made cue cards, and yeah. I have finally started my book journal. It looks terrible. So, I was supposed to start it in January, and I never did. Thankfully, like I said, I only read 5 books, so I can quickly catch myself up. And I'm gonna add details and stuff later on. My book journal, ladies and gentlemen. I got this from the dollar store. But I wanted to show you. Kept it super simple and cute. Super simple and cute. And of course I put a paper clip on this. I might add more stuff later, I'm not sure. But for now, I'm just going to keep it simple and kind of add stuff as I see fit. Yeah. And my sticker that wants to come off. I still got a few things to fill in on this page. But let's continue. In no particular order. Okay, I lied. We should probably go in somewhat order. Remember the video I made a long time ago where my husband shows the books that I read? I have read about 3 of them. I have about 1? Yeah, actually. Yes. No. Yes. I have 1 more from his pile that he chose to read. Wow. Okay. So anyways, let me make sure I get this right. This is my... Okay. This book has been super popular. I've gone back and forth. I want to read it. Don't I want to read it? Do I want to read it? Do I want to read it? It's been popular on Book Talk and TikTok and BookTube and Bookstagram and whatever everyone calls every app for a book. What was that? Okay. They Both Die at the End by Adam Silveria. This is the first book ever that I read by him. And it is like a futuristic sci-fi, not really what I expected, but I loved it. In fact, as soon as I finished it, I had to go and buy the prequel, which is The First to Die in the End, which, as you can see, is a lot more pages. Ah! But I did it. Okay, guys, I read it. Yay me. My goal is to, this year, one of my biggest reading goals, I think, is to not be intimidated by pages. And how many pages? Because I have books on my TBR that are like 400 pages, 800 pages. And I figured if I get intimidated by them, I'll never pick them up. But some of them are on my bookshelf and I have to pick them up. So random. Anyways, so I'm going to grab, because I read this in January, my little notes. Da 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 da. Okay, so they both die at the end follows the two main characters, Mateo and Rufus. So they both discover they have one day left to live by this company called Deathcast. So what it is Deathcast calls you and tells you you have 24 hours to live. Yeah. So weird. Really weird. Like, I don't know. How I feel about that personally, if I'm going to die in 24 hours, I really don't want to know. But then some people might, because then you can live your life for the next 24 hours. But what would you do if you only had 24 hours left? Like, what would you actually do? What could you do in 24 hours? Not much. For me, it would probably be definitely one last trip to Disney World, because Disney. Yeah, spend the next 24 hours with my family, and that would be the main thing on my list. So when they discover that they have 24 hours left, they download this app called the Last Friend app, and it hooks them up to each other. So they meet up and they hang out through this book, and it has like all these emotions. This book basically will probably, if you're a human being at all, it will get you pretty sad, pretty teary. I will admit, I probably almost cried during this book, because this is one of those books that just makes you feel, I don't know, emotion. I like those books that give you emotion, that make you cry, because then you know it's a good book. And I was invested in this book way more than I thought I would be. They spend the last 24 hours together, and, well, that's all I'm going to say about this book. I don't want to go too much into it. The First to Die in the End follows two completely new characters, Orion and Valentino. Now, what I like about this book is it goes back and it tells you exactly who Deathcast is, how they started, the creator of Deathcast, and Orion. Is it Orion? I think it's Orion. Let me double check. So Valentino, he's registered for the Deathcast program because his sister almost died a year ago in a car accident, so he registered for it just because. But Deathcast, they make their first round of calls, and Valentino finds out that he is going to die when they make, at midnight, their first call. And Valentino is like their first customer after they launch, and they call him. Orion has this serious heart condition, and he signs up for Deathcast because he wants to start to live, and he attends a once-in-a-lifetime event, the Deathcast premiere in Times Squares. And this book follows Orion and Valentino, their days together, what they do. What I like about this book is that you meet another character from the first book. I won't tell you who, but you meet two characters, I think, from the first book. But then in this book, Adam leaves this book with you. You still wonder, how exactly does Deathcast know you're going to die in 24 hours? They never tell you their sources, they never gave away their secrets, and he just kind of leaves it at that. Now, whether he's ever going to write a book that tells you exactly how, I don't know. But I think that's just the magic mystery of these two books, that we may never figure out how Deathcast knows that you will die in 24 hours. And that is just, books are going to belong in my head for a while. Recently, I read One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. She's the author of Red, White, and Royal Blue, and her newest book, I Kissed Sarah Wheeler. Now, this book was so good. I had so much trouble putting this book down. I could have read this book probably in 2 days. Even one day, if I had that kind of time to just sit down and read and do nothing. So this girl named August, she meets a girl on the commute on her subway train named Jane. She moves to New York City. Again, another book set in New York City. So I'll just kind of read what this is about. For clinical 23-year-old August, moving to New York City is supposed to prove her right. Things like magic and cinematic love stories don't exist. She can't imagine how waiting tables at a 24-hour pancake diner and moving in with too many weird roommates could possibly change that. And there's no chance of her subway commute being any more than a daily trudge through boredom and electrical failures. Jane, that she meets on the subway, she's mysterious, charming, and she shows up in a leather jacket to save August's morning when she needs it the most. Jane doesn't just look like an old school punk rocker, but she's literally displaced in time from the 1970s. And August is going to have to use everything she tried to leave in her own past to help Jane. Jane, maybe it's time to start believing in some things after all. Like I said, this book I cannot put down. It's funny, it's romantic, it's comic, it's emotional. It literally, a book that gives me 3 to 4 feelings at once, for me, is a 5-star read. Oh, by the way, the other 2 books, both of them are 5-star reads. 100%, hands down, love it. I need to update my NetGalley. Oops. Casey McQuiston, I want to read her other 2 books as well. This is the first book that I read by her. Loved it. And this was on Indigo's Top 10 of 2021, which I was supposed to do the video that I never did. But this book hooked me. It hooked me, and then it broke me, and then I was confused, and I was like, what did I just read? And I had to finish the book. And I finished the book, and I was like, again, I was just, what did I just read? This book is the most twisted book in the history of twisted books that I've ever read. Still not really sure why, how, who. I want to research more into this book, but I really don't. I'm stuck in between. What is the hidden meaning behind this book? I don't know. Maybe I should just research it and then do a spoiler video on why you should not waste your time on this book. But hey, Margaret Atwood said, "Oh, Bunny, you are so genius." I don't know. Bunny, a novel by Mona Awad. This 300 pages. This is a book where you want to join with about a girls that go to a private school, I believe. University, something like that. And Samantha joins their cult at New England's Elliott Warren University. And these like sinister rich girls call each other Bunny. When they move, when they speak, when they talk to each other, everything is Bunny. How are you, Bunny? Oh, I missed you, Bunny. What are you doing, Bunny? And I'm like... So Kingdom of the Wicked is about two witches that are twins. And because I love the Disney movie Twitches, that is one of the reasons why I really wanted to read this book. So Amelia and her sister Victoria, the witches live in a secret to avoid persecution. So it's shocking when the witches start turning up dead, and Amelia's twin sister is murdered. Okay, cool. So her sister, where is it? When Amelia's twin becomes a victim, Amelia was normally the more cautious of the two, throws all caution to the wind and vows revenge. She goes to the book to find revenge on her sister Victoria. She encounters secrets from her family. She meets this kind of demon, I'm not really sure what he is, like a demon, angel, something, I don't know. They call him, where is it? So Wrath is, they describe him as dark, dangerous, sexy. And the story progresses that he develops feelings for Amelia that go beyond the magic of the bond. He has a soft spot for her whether he likes it or not. Amelia finds herself experiencing similar feelings. Neither should trust the other, but they can't find the lure of their attraction. So it says if you're a fan of Charmed in the days, it gave her serious Phoebe and Chloe vibes. Fantasy books take me a lot longer to get into, the worlds, etc. So it really took me a while to understand the worlds and stuff like that, but and the vocabulary, a lot of the vocabulary in fantasy books are what's going on, what did I just read? So that's why it takes me a lot longer to read fantasy books. But I like fantasy books. And I do have a few fantasy books back here that I still need to read. But I need to find pretty much out a better way to read fantasy books so they don't take me forever. So the first book is Kingdom of the Wicked. The second one is Kingdom of the Curse. And the third one is Kingdom of the Feared. I originally had the first book. And then I had to get the other two books once I finished reading it. Well, lo and behold, of course, when I go to Indigo Chapters, they don't have the other two books. All they have is a box set. So I take the box set and I sell my first book of Kingdom of the Wicked to a used bookstore. But yeah, if you like movies about witches, movies about sisterly bond, I would recommend Kingdom of the Wicked for sure. I haven't read the other two books yet. I want to do a vlog when I finish these two books, but I think I have to go back and read Kingdom of the Wicked, maybe. I'm not sure. It kind of depends on what happens, I guess, for me. We'll see for that. Sadler, she wrote her first book called The Desert Siren. Because of the name of it, it hooked me right away, and the cover is super, super pretty. Now I don't know. Oh, this is okay. And then obviously I got her to sign it because she was at Indigo that day, and I'm all about supporting local artists. So this book says, trapped in a nightmare, 24-year-old Sahara is pushed into a sea of new opportunities when she leaves her desert home for a musical symposium in the middle of the ocean. There she discovers new secrets about herself, including she might be the savior the sea has been looking for. But facing off against a tyrant mermaid is the least of her worries as she battles for the freedom of the sea. Oh, this is cool, actually. All the time. I Caved. There is this Never After novel series with about 3 books. 4th is coming out soon, by Emily McIntyre. The first one is Hooked, the second one is Scarred, and then the other one is called Wretched. No, maybe there's 5. I don't know. This one is Twisted. This is a tale that has to do with Aladdin. She's a diamond in the rough. He's her worst nightmare. Yasmin, daughter to one of the richest men in the world, has never known strife. When her beloved father falls ill, she's determined to make his final days his happiest. His wish, to see her married to a man that he chooses. Except her heart belongs to someone else, a servant. A man her father would never consider worthy. Stuck between a rock and a hard place, Yasmin strikes a desperate deal with her father's right-hand man, Julian, not realizing he has his own twisted agenda. Julian has one goal: become the most powerful man in the world. He's built a future from broken bones and faded bruises, and he doesn't care who he hurt along the way. But when his mentor falls ill, he finds himself on the verge of losing everything, and he'll stop at nothing to inherit what is rightfully his, even if it means forcing a woman he can't stand into marriage. I wanted to find Hooked. So Hooked is about like Peter Pan, Captain Hook. Wretched, I believe, was Cinderella, and Scarred is kind of like Lion King-ish in a way, but I don't know. I have to look them up. This is a dark contemporary romance as well as the other ones, so there's no specific order to read these in, so I just got this one because I've always loved Aladdin, and that's just me. I've been wanting to read this book forever, but I could not justify paying the hardcover price of this book, and it's finally out in paperback, so I bought it. Finally, V.E. Schwab, did I say that right? The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Super excited for this book. I'm just going to do a quick... France, 1714. In a moment of desperation, a young woman named Adeline meets a dangerous stranger and makes a terrible mistake. It will be 300 years before she stumbles into a hidden bookstore and discovers someone who can remember her name, and suddenly everything changes. So yeah, I'm super excited this one's finally out in paperback, and I've wanted to read this for a while now, okay? So I got my little one, Dear Earth, from your friends in room 5, which I should probably read to her this week. Oh, it says Earth Hero Post. So this classroom just talks about saving the earth. How can you save the earth? What can you do to save the earth? And now that... Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you've read any of the books. Let me know what you think of the books. Let me know what books you have read. Catch me up on what you've read so far since January. I'd like to know. But I will talk to you guys later. Like this video. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And hit the bell notification button to get updates whenever I post.